Sales isn't a set of techniques. If we think about it, it's kind of like a mirror of how you see yourself in every pitch, in every ask, in every engagement, every challenge. If you think about it, we have a self-image. That's the image that we hold of ourselves, of how we see ourselves and how we believe the rest of the world sees us. And then we have self-esteem. Self-esteem is my personal self-regard, how I value me, the value, my worth, and how I teach the world to value me. So we have this self-image, and then we have self-esteem. And when we blend those together, it creates a self-concept, a self-belief. When our self-belief, our self-image, and our self-esteem, when we don't value ourselves, and when we think and we hold a low opinion of ourselves, we attract mediocre outcomes. Your outer sales results will never outpace your inner self-image. You never outproduce your own self-image. If you see yourself as an 8, you get 7 results. You don't get 8 results. You'll never get a 9 result. You hit the lid. It's called the law of the lid. If you believe yourself to be a 6, you get results at a 5. Now, you may know how to ask for the sale. You may know all the right things to say. You may have learned all the tips and tricks. But if you don't see yourself as someone worthy of being said yes to, your prospect feels that from you. See, sales doesn't start with strategy. It starts in your self-identity. That's the start of all strategy. The start of all strategy is the strategist. You can't take you out of the equation. Like if I gave you and somebody else the exact same strategy, the person with the highest level of self-belief is going to be the person who executes that strategy to its highest level. You can't just rely on strategy and not the strategist. It starts with identity. And every time you open your mouth, every time you hold your physiology and your posture, every tonality, every word choice, every question, how you build and maintain rapport, especially in those first 4 seconds, you are broadcasting a frequency that either invites confidence and certainty, that people see you and they see you and recognize you as an authority, as an expert, or it gives hesitation and pause. Somebody says, something's not right. I just don't get a good vibe. And they may not even be able to define what it is, but they can just feel it. I can tell you this, if you find that you've kind of plateaued in your sales, like you've hit a certain level of income, if you haven't increased your income by 25% in the last year or two, you're stuck. You've plateaued. And I'm telling you, it's not just a skills problem. I had this happen to me. I was making $150,000 a year. Next year, $150,000, $155,000, $160,000, $157,000. What's going on? Why can't I break through that? It's because I was programmed that I'd never be able to make $250,000. I told myself that long ago. I'll never, high school dropout, janitor. I'm never going to make it. I'm never going to be able to make $250,000. And so I just plateaued. I just got stuck. It's not a skills problem. It's a self-conception problem. It's a self-belief. You're unconsciously resisting the next level because it conflicts with how you currently see yourself. There's an incongruency there. Most salespeople are trying to solve external problems. They're trying to, work on conversion or overcoming objections or pricing while dragging around an internal belief system that says I'm not good enough, or I'm not ready yet, or I'm not qualified. So the question is this, are you selling from your highest place of self-belief, or are you selling from some old story like I was? I'm a high school dropout, never going to amount to anything, just a janitor. Are you going to drag your past and all the failures that you've had, and we've all had them. You're not unique to that. There's nothing special about you and your failures. We've all had them. The question is have you gotten over them? Are you willing to let them go? What you're trying to do here is you're trying to create certainty in the mind of your buyer. Remember, what is sales? Sales is the transference of emotion. The primary emotion is certainty. So it's not about, who talks the loudest or who has the best force to kind of manipulate people or influence people into, saying yes when they may have wanted to say no. Certainty is about emotional congruence. It's that inner alignment between what you believe, what you say, how you say it. That's what moves people. You've heard that sales, again, is the transference of emotion, but the emotion that closes sales isn't enthusiasm. It's not like, I see salespeople are, come in super bubbly and enthusiastic and they think that's it. No, I will take grounded certainty over enthusiasm any day of the week when I'm buying from somebody. So if your voice says yes, but your energy says, geez, I hope this works, the buyer feels that. The buyer just doesn't buy in. They buy you before they buy the offer. People feel this dissonance. And again, I'm not saying that they can name it, and most times they can't. It's a feeling. Emotional congruence means it's your internal belief that matches your external delivery. It's the reason some people sell with 5 words and other people need to say 5,000 words. Certainty is built. It's carried. It's delivered. It's not faked. And it's built by upgrading your own belief, the belief behind what you say. Remember, if sales is the transference of the emotion of certainty, the only place your buyer can get certainty is from you. That means you've got to have the certainty first. So the next time you pitch, record yourself and don't critique the words. Listen deeper. Listen for the emotion. Does your tonality match the value of what you're offering? Can you hear your physiology? I want to interrupt this. Before we go any further, I want you to hit the pause button on everything else, and I want you to download the sales awareness guide that I created for you. Look, this guide isn't just fluff. It's a mirror, and it's going to show you exactly where you're operating from in your sales process, and more importantly, what level of awareness you need to move into if you want to elevate your results. Now, look, I'm going to walk you through the 7 distinct 7 levels of awareness, from reactive, which is animal, all the way up to mastery, which is where we respond with calm confidence. And I'm going to give you the exact reflection questions, the language patterns, and all the strategies to help you shift up, not someday, but today. So if you ever caught yourself saying, I know I can do better, I know I can do more, I just don't know what's kind of getting in my way, this guide was made for you. You'll not only diagnose your own patterns, you'll learn how to disrupt them. Download this link right now in the description, print it out, write your name on it, and do the work, because your awareness creates your results. All transformation starts with awareness, and this guide is going to help you prove it. And then go right back, and I have some really good stuff to share with you in the next video. See, your sales conversations reflect your level of awareness, not just about your product, but about yourself. So when you're unaware, when you're unaware of your potential, when you're unaware of your value, when you're unaware of yourself as the strategist in the strategy, you default to pitch mode. But when you're in mastery, you move from pitch mode to where you tell to sell, to where you become this trusted advisor, this level of mastery. Again, I don't know how many times to say it. You never outperform your own self-concept. At best, you'll sabotage success. And at worst, you'll avoid taking action altogether. High awareness salespeople know that everything, the good, the bad, and the ugly, is nothing but feedback. We dedicate an entire syllabus. I think I spend 2 hours in the Martinelli sales system teaching the 7 levels of awareness. And when we operate at low awareness, salespeople take everything personally. They spiral into self-doubt. Like every piece of feedback, man, it's like a personal indictment against who they are. If you want to sell more, and I believe you do, then you want to upgrade the operating system behind your conversations. If you're struggling in sales, if you've plateaued, the issue isn't what you're selling. It's not the price. It's not the market. It's so much simpler than that. It's the mirror. It's who you are being when you're doing. And again, most people, they're going to blame the offer. They're going to blame the market. They're going to blame the buyer. They're going to blame marketing and the leads. They're going to blame the script. They're going to blame the funnel. I'm telling you, the real problem is the energy. It's the tonality. It's the who they're being and the behavior that they bring to every interaction and every engagement. Buyers don't just hear what you say. Think about this. You know this. You know this. You're a buyer. You feel how that other person is engaging you. You feel their level of certainty. You feel their level of conviction. You feel their level of sincerity. You can pick up hesitation. You can tell when somebody's over explaining and overselling. You can pick up people's nervous energy. If you can, trust me, your prospects can, and they respond accordingly. You have fluctuated based on how you feel that day, based on what the market is, based on any other, hundreds of possible outside, interferences. See, when we're at the lowest level of sales awareness, we're operating what I call this animal level of awareness, where we're reactionary. We're reactionary to the conditions and circumstances. We feel every single bump. But at the highest level, the seventh level of awareness, that's sales mastery. Sales mastery is when your emotional state and identity is consistent. It's congruent, regardless of what's going around. You're calm and you're confident and you're certain. You're assured. You're an authority. I'm telling you. That builds trust. That closes deals. There is no outer leap that you can make in sales without you making an inner shift. There's no amount of going for it. Your income grows, quite frankly, when your identity does. If you want to scale your sales, don't worry about changing your script. Change the script you've got in your own head. Change the story you're telling yourself. Don't worry about the sales script. Change the script you've got in your head. That 18-inch journey from your head to your heart. That's the biggest journey you'll ever make. See, so many people think that mindset is all about motivation. I'm not a motivational speaker. Now, you may find what I say motivational or inspirational, but mindset is about structure. Mindset is when you are operating from a high level of discipline. That's the fifth level of awareness, is disciplined. You have this disciplined identity. Regardless of the conditions and circumstance, you don't find yourself kind of spiraling out of, just reactive behavior. The highest earning salespeople, and I've seen them all over the world, I can tell you this, they're not the most aggressive. They're not the most pushy. They're not the one, ABC, always be closing. But I can also tell you this, they are absolutely the most internally aligned people in the room. Mastery is when the voice in your head becomes your biggest asset, not your biggest obstacle. If you want to shift your sales performance, stop obsessing over tactics. Stop obsessing over strategy. Start focusing on the strategist. Upgrading your operating system, your belief system. In the Martinelli sales method, we have 4 core syllabuses. The first syllabus is the messenger. That's you. The next is the message. Then there's the model and the method. But we start with the messenger. We start with right from the beginning, before there's any tactics or strategies. We've got all the tactics and all the strategies, and we've got all the systems, just everything you would expect from a world-class program. But what separates us from everybody else is we start with the salesperson's psyche. We've got to get you right, because no matter what script you use, no matter what market you're in, no matter what the price is, no matter who the buyer is, you're on every one of your calls. It's about upgrading your operating system, your belief system. It's not about what you're doing. It's about who you are when you do it. When you master that, I'm telling you, you become unstoppable. Now look, if you're serious about mastering your inner game, don't just kind of listen to this. Do something with this. Download the Sales Awareness Guide right now. And it's going to show you exactly what level of awareness you're selling from and how you can shift into that next level of awareness that produces consistent high level results. Because once you know what level you're stuck at, you can stop repeating those same old patterns and start leading every conversation from a place of power and authority. And so once you've downloaded the guide, watch my very next video called The 8 Dark Psychological Sales Techniques to Sell Anything. Because once you master the inner game, it's time that you master the psychology of influence. I'll see you there.